are waiting, so yeah, you're right on time. Right, let me try and get my comments up first of all for this challenge. I'm very excited actually. Let me just get these up. How's everyone doing this Sunday? And yeah, right now in London it's completely rainy, gloomy. The last live stream we did, we had a lighting situation, so I've tried to deal with that. So I've got a new light, so hopefully this is okay. All right, let me get the comments up. Just give me a moment. While I'm getting this up and you know some of you are coming in, I make sure that you check the link, well, the links in my, hi AJ, make sure that you check the links in my description box. I have the links to, you know, my Instagram, my Patreon, and all of that in there. So yeah, and also some of my fellow Capricorns have asked me about, you know, my birthday and everything. So I've put the link to like an Amazon list. So my birthday is actually next Sunday, so if you wanted to get me a birthday gift or whatever, and of course no pressure, then I've put a link for that as well. So I've almost got the comments up. And take me a second. Let's mute my laptop. So who's going to be taking part in this challenge? So this one is going to be kind of similar to the last challenge, except well, not except, it's going to be kind of similar but kind of different. Okay, hi Lady Atty, hi Island Princess, hi, thank you guys for being in here, I really appreciate it. All right, so that's enough time. I feel like lots of people are kind of in here now. So this challenge is quite exciting because it's very, very positive. And like I mentioned previously, these challenges, well, going out solo challenges, it was a request from a lovely subscriber of mine, and I'm so glad that she requested this because I think that it's such a great and positive thing to do. So I'm excited about our second challenge, which is commencing from right now, okay? And it's going to last up until the 31st of January. That gives you 3 weeks to kind of get your bearings, you know, push yourself into it. It also gives you some time to kind of, hi, hey, oh, well, thank you for requesting this. So it gives you time to get out there and do that. So you're going to have 3 weeks and I think 2 days. Okay, so it gives you that time. I will actually go back in after this video and put all of the, you know, instructions into the description box. I didn't have time to do that. On the so Wednesday the 1st of February, we're going to come back and we're going to do the results. Yes, thank you for requesting this. Seriously, really, really positive and uplifting, definitely. So what you ladies are going to do for this challenge is you're going to be going into affluent financial districts in your city. That's what you're going to be doing. The last challenge was to go into affluent, more so residential areas, but this time you're going to be going into the financial districts in your city. And let's be very clear, if you're in a big city, especially like London, there can be smaller financial, you know, places that might have like really small banks and everything, but you don't want those kinds of areas. You want to go into, if you're in London, then obviously like a Canary Wharf or Bank, you know, Liverpool Street. So these are kind of the areas that you're really wanting to kind of go to. So I just want to make that very, very clear, okay? So you want to go to the affluent financial districts in your city. you're going to do this. I've actually put for this challenge to do this during the daytime or after work hours, because when people get off of work and they go for a drink with their, you know, their work colleagues, that is going to be a good way for you to kind of a good time for you to be out as well. So if you are going into these working areas, then after work hours is going to be good. So obviously that's from around 4:30ish up until about 7 p.m. or so. And during the day, if you wanted to do it that way, then really it's anything from kind of breakfast, because these men will meet up, first of all, sometimes go for a quick breakfast near work, near the office, and then quickly rush to work. Or you're going to go maybe around lunchtime, which is a really good time as well. So you really have from morning up until 7 p.m. for this challenge, which is different from the last challenge, which was only during the day. So if you go out, you know, during the day, then you're going to go to a restaurant, bar. If you go out after work hours, you're going to go to a bar or a restaurant bar. So it's completely up to you. You have that option and you have different choices. So yeah, there's some more flexibility than, you know, in this challenge. Dress code. Now, ladies, I have actually put 2 dress codes. So one of them is cute, smart, casual, which means the things that you should be wearing anyway on a day-to-day basis. Hi, that's what that means. So if you're doing skirts, you might be doing like a turtleneck. It's that kind of everyday smart, casual, cute kind of wear, and that's what I put down for the first kind of dress code. Just, you know, casual, what you would usually be wearing, but still looking nice. The second dress code is sexy smart, which means maybe you're actually coming from work yourself. Maybe you're portraying that you have been on a job interview. Maybe it didn't go well, or maybe it did, or who knows, you know. So you've got to start planning and thinking beforehand of other things that you might want to say later on to get to your beneficial dating. So you've got to think about things from the outset, which is now when you're placing yourself out strategically. So that sexy smart dress code is more so a pair of like heels that you would wear to go to the office. It's maybe a pencil skirt, a nice blouse. You know, it's that kind of thing. Maybe you're going to wear like a blazer, but with a nice top underneath. So it's that kind of thing. And why I said sexy smart is because lots of people can feel like, okay, I need to show everything. Like, you wouldn't even need to do something like what I'm doing right now, you know. You could literally have on something that has a high neck. You could have a red lip, have your nails done, your makeup done, have your hair nice. You don't have to reveal skin to be attractive, okay? But of course it's something that is going to be eye-catching if you are showing at least maybe up to here, okay? So you have lots of different options and with dress code. So I wanted to leave it so it's a bit more broad. Of course, you are going into these affluent financial districts, which means that most people around there are going to be working anyway. So if they see you sitting there and you look like maybe you're working around there, that could maybe potentially be a conversation starter. But on the other hand, you might not want to look like you are working, or you might not want to have that attire, so then you do your normal dressing. Hair. Put it down. Okay, so you're going to have your hair down, and of course we're going to have some people that maybe don't want to do that, or they don't want to have their hair in a certain hairstyle. But from what I see when I am out is that mainly the women with their hair down, they have some length or at least volume, at least if it's shoulder length or so, and you have the volume, that is going to get you more you know, looks of desire, as opposed to if your hair is scraped up into a bun, scraped back into a ponytail, unless it's like a really like an Ariana Grande kind of ponytail or something, that might be cute. But I feel like you should have your hair down for the challenge. If that's not an option for you whatsoever, then try to do like a nice a really glamorous kind of ponytail. And when I say glamorous, I just mean you've put it up neatly, you've tied the, you know, additional hair around the base of it, so you've tried to make the most of that ponytail, and you know, everything else has to be really done up, but of course hair down would be preferable. So if you're going out during the daytime or lunch, then you're going to go in there to either eat or have some tea, something like that. You're not going to be going there and having a glass of alcohol during the day, so let's make that very clear. You're not going to be doing that. So you're going to go in and have, you know, a pot of tea. If you don't drink tea, then just have a coffee or something, and maybe some nibbles, or you're going to actually have lunch or breakfast. If you're going after work, then you can have a drink if you want to. And of course it does not have to be alcoholic. It can have the alcoholic look. It could even have elderflower if you don't actually drink or want to drink. So yes, but you want it to look after hours like you're not sitting there with a pot of tea, you know, unless, you know, your religion is something that, you know, you're not going to be drinking anyway. I just feel like it makes you look a bit more fun and maybe more approachable sometimes if you look like you have some kind of, you know, alcoholic beverage with you, especially if you're at a bar or a restaurant bar and it's after work hours, you know. But it doesn't have to be alcoholic, so let's make that very clear. So I feel like at this point, this kind of challenge is going to really push you. If you did the first challenge and then you're going to do this challenge as well, you would have combated doing a residential area and going somewhere local, and you would have also combated going into a really upscale financial professional district and area in your city, and placing yourself within, you know, those restaurants and, you know, bars that these people are going to. So I feel like you're really pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So that's the challenge, and yeah, I'm really excited to come back on the 1st of February with a live stream and hear all of your results and your experiences. I think it would be really beneficial for everybody, and just I think it's so positive. I really do. So let's see some of your comments, and also let me know in the comments who is going to be participating in this challenge. Let me know, ladies. Hi everyone. Hi, welcome. That's perfect. I'll have some non-mummy time to myself. That is perfect. That's perfect. I'm pleased that you're doing it, and yeah. Hi, love from Serbia. Hi ladies. Okay, what do you think about faux locks? I think that faux locks are going to get you, you know, I don't think you should have your hair in faux locks. And the reason why is because on this channel we're just going to be, oh ladies, don't forget to thumbs up for me please. Like this video. So thumbs up. We have 41 people and 12 likes, so that's not adding up, honey. So make sure you thumbs up for me please. But the faux locks, in those kind of, you know, with certain people who, let's be honest about the majority of the people who work in these areas, they don't understand faux locks. They've never even maybe they don't even have a friend who even has faux locks, and they might just not. Sometimes you don't like what you don't understand, or what you have no connection with, or what you don't resonate with. I feel like the easiest thing to do is to do something that is universal. And what women do universally, just everywhere, this is a look, it's a hairstyle, is just to have it, like, when I say down, I just mean like straight, or you know, whether it's sleek, or whether you've added some body and some waves into that thing. I feel like that's the way to do it. I feel like that is a universal hairstyle that everybody in the world kind of recognizes. And I feel like that's the easiest way for you to not be overlooked by certain people who don't understand certain things, or maybe they just don't find it attractive, and you know, those things. So I would definitely stay clear of the faux locks. Anything singular in your hair, I would just stay away from. You want it to be something that's more so, if you think about Rihanna, right, and of course Rihanna, she's kind of quirky as well, so just forget about her quirky side. But if she was going out and she was trying to get your man, how do you think Rihanna's going to do her hair, her makeup? What is she going to be wearing? And that is kind of the stance you have to take mentally when you're kind of preparing what you're going to wear, what your look is going to be like when you're going to certain places. And I don't think if she was going into a bar situation wanting to have her pick of the bunch, I don't think she's going to go in that place with the faux locks. I feel like she's going to be doing something sleek, simple, that doesn't take away from everything else, you know. So yeah, that's how I feel. And also they might mistake them for dreadlocks and think that you may be a Rasta, which is obviously probably predominantly going to be a different religion to other people. Okay, so there's also that part as well, you know, to think about. So I would say it's just trying to be more you want to blend in, but at the same time you want to stand out. Okay, so that's kind of the balance. And also with those kind of hairstyles, just last point, depending on how you do them, I just feel like it is not the best way personally to I feel like it's too much tension on the scalp, well, for me anyway. Okay, so hi Sarah, I'm definitely a day drinker. Okay, so if you're a day drinker and you feel like, you know, it's 4 p.m. but you want to have a drink, then I guess you could do a glass of Prosecco, or maybe a white wine spritzer or something. But what I'm not going to have is for you to be out, and you're out from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, let's say, sitting at this place perhaps, and then you're having several drinks. And also, if everybody else around you isn't drinking at that time, you don't want to stick out in a negative way, you know, having the drink. So maybe look around, see what else you can see around you. If you are going to drink, okay, then maybe and you're by yourself, depending if it's Thursday or a Friday, then maybe it's going to be a bit different. Maybe you could get away from it from about 4 o'clock. But I feel like really it's after work that you're kind of doing that, because when you're by yourself, it's a little bit different than if you're meeting the girls and you're having a drink, or you're with someone else. I feel like when you are by yourself, you have to move a little bit differently. But of course, be yourself as well. Maybe one day you go out, you do your drink in the day, and another day you go out, because you have 3 weeks to do this, and you don't have a drink during the day, you have your herbal tea or whatever. So you can mix it up, be yourself. The instructions I give are strict guidelines, things that I want you to do, but at the same time, you know, you still have to, you can tweak things and do it how you would, what makes you feel more comfortable with. Okay. Okay, so when you're there, what do you do to keep off your phone? I personally don't have, ladies, thumbs up please, thumbs up. I saw it jumped up from when I asked previously, so thank you. But please, ladies, thumbs up. Even if you're a silent viewer, just hit the thumbs up for me, please. But for me, I don't have an attachment to my phone, so that's not really a big deal for me. It's not really something that I think about, because I mean, I'm not really checking my phone like that. I'm just not really that kind of person. Thank you, I see the likes going up. But I would say that all you do is, when you get in there, you have your bag closed, and sometimes in these bars they have like a peg underneath the bar area, like where your legs are, and you just hang your bag up and you don't touch it again. If you want to know what the time is, then there should be a clock in there, or you can ask one of the people behind the bar what the time is. If you wanted it to be a conversation starter, make sure you have your phone on silent, honey. But you could even ask if there's a guy or a group of guys sitting right next to you, say, excuse me, you know, the battery on my phone is dead, do you have the time? And you could ask them what the time is, and you know, that could be something. But yeah, you're not going to be going on your phone. If somebody's sitting there and they are checking their phone, it looks like, okay, she's preoccupied with something. If you are going for more of the sexy smart look, it might look like, okay, she's still working, she's checking her emails, or she's waiting for a date. People just don't know. So just stay off of that thing, and that will stop you from needing it. Another part of these challenges is to bring you out of your shell and to make you feel like you don't need to go out with your friends, you don't need to rely on other people, you don't need to rely on your phone or on distractions. You don't need those things. All you need is yourself, and you know, to push yourself and to be confident. And that is another positive aspect of these challenges. So it might be difficult for you, you know, to not touch your phone, not open your bag, because you don't need anything from your bag whatsoever when you're sitting down somewhere. You don't need it. So things to do to keep you off of your phone is to speak to the staff behind the bar. So speak to people, you can look around. If you go somewhere that actually has entertainment, then that's going to be a good distraction for you, and you can, you know, look at that. So in a sense, it could be a safety blanket for you, having that, something to really look at, you know, if there is like a singer in there or something. But otherwise, you need to be people watching. You need to be seeing, okay, what do these other women that come here wear? Let me see, what are the men like in here? Okay, I've been in here since 4 o'clock, now it's 4:45, and now I'm really seeing an increase of the kind of people I want in here. Okay, this is a good time for me to come back. So you need to be making mental notes and doing your own, you know, there are other things that you need to be preoccupying your mind with than, you know, your phone. Okay. What perfume do you wear for going out? At the moment, I did put this in the last challenge video, so check that video out. Excuse me. My two favorite perfumes right now are ZIVA'S. This is like a cheap, I think it's like a dupe of something. I just buy that on Amazon, no, on eBay. And the other one is Arabian Oud. and it's called Rosewood. So they are my top two that I wear right now. So Pookie Wookie, do you think you'll ever share more about yourself on your channel? For example, what you do day to day. I just don't really feel like it really, because it's not really a vlog channel, I just don't feel like it really makes sense. So I wanted to branch out and do different things on this channel, but some things just don't actually make sense with the rest of the channel. And if I had, you know, another channel, which, you know, I'm open to starting one day, where I'm doing vlogs and fashion bits and bobs and, you know, those things, maybe shopping vlogs or whatever, I feel like that would kind of work. But on this channel, I just don't feel like it really fits in, so that's not really something I would be sharing right now. But I mean, I can tell you, I mean, just whatever, to be honest, whatever. If I'm going out, if I'm meeting up with family, if I'm doing shopping, if I'm, well, right now I'm trying to write 2 more ebooks, so I'm trying to do that. I'm doing things, trying to plan. I have plans and things that I want to do in terms of online things. So yeah, I'm putting time and effort into that as well. So yeah, that's what I do, I guess, roundabout. Yeah, I would say that box braids are out as well. I would say when you really think about, like, when you see that kind of vixen kind of excuse me, but person, it's never really like box braids or any of those things. It's usually a hairstyle that men can, or even if it's a wig, but they think they can run their hands through and kind of just be, you know, it's that kind of, you've got to get into these, you know, some of the stuff that sometimes you see in the films, because that's what they kind of want, okay, with the look of things. And you don't really, sometimes, you know, guys, they feel like, okay, they want to pull your hair, or let's just be completely honest, they've got all of these things, some of these, you know, sexual things that they think about and that they want to do. And with the box braids, I just don't feel like it fits into, I don't feel like it fits into that. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't. I think it's about more so thinking, what's more of the vixen look. But of course, if for you, if you think that that is what really suits you, then do it one day with the box braids, and then take the box braids out and do it with a different kind of hairstyle, like a straight hairstyle or something that's just more universal, and see what the difference is. I guarantee you, with the box braids, you're going to attract more of people who you might not want to. They might be less professional, or they might be a lot younger. So I feel like that's kind of what the box braids kind of attract and draw into you. Okay, so that's how I feel about it from my own personal experience anyway. Remember, I did box braids. I did like single extensions. I think this was, I can't remember when this was, but it was a couple of years ago. I have like a video or 2 on my channel with them in, and the reason for me at the time was it's easier. That was when I was running. It was a lot easier for me, and I did it for a short period of time. But I didn't like the attention I was getting. I wasn't getting the attention that I can get if I don't have those in. And also the way that people treat you, I think it's different depending on where you are in the world. But being, you know, depending on where you are, some people will treat you a bit differently, and it's just not the same. And I also don't feel like they have the wow factor as well. So it's not really like something that you would say is a glamorous hairstyle. I feel like more so most of the time when people do it, it's because it's quick and easy. Well, quick and easy isn't glamorous, so I feel like it's about really taking the time to curl your hair, or I feel like it just shows like you've put that extra bit of effort into things as well. So yeah, I hope I'm explaining myself properly. But yeah, I would say box braids are out. Please, please review the details of the challenge again. Okay, so I will go over this quickly then. So you have from today, 8th of January, until the 31st of January. So you have 3 weeks to go to an affluent financial district in your area, and you can do this multiple times. It doesn't just have to be once. On Wednesday the 1st of Feb, we're going to come back and do your experiences. So you're going to go out to a restaurant or to a restaurant bar. You have during the daytime or after work hours to do that. And that is basically what it is. Dress code, smart, cute, smart, casual, or sexy, smart. But yeah, that's basically the challenge details. But please go to the beginning of the video if you want to hear me explaining, you know, with more details. I just don't want to, you know, repeat myself. But that's basically what the challenge is. So I hope that you're going to be joining in Angel Love Shopping. Okay, so Otimore Lifestyle says, do you retouch lipstick while seated at the table, or must you go to the restroom? Remember, you're not touching your bag. So you're not retouching your lipstick or anything. Definitely go to the bathroom and do that, especially if you have gone and you've eaten or you've drank something. You don't know where your lipstick is going to be anymore. So instead of just quickly touching up there and maybe not wanting to take out the whole mirror, I feel like, yes, go to the bathroom, definitely. You're not touching your bag, of course. If nobody approaches and you have to take your purse out to actually pay for, you know, whatever it is that you ordered, then fine. But otherwise, you're not going to touch your bag, and you're kind of just going to leave it alone. So yeah, definitely at the end, go to the bathroom, and then you have more time to kind of check out your whole outfit, you know, your hair, and, you know, retouch your lipstick and check your teeth depending on if you ate or whatever. So I feel like that's the better way to do it. Hi Latoya. I go to do some uni work sometimes, so I'm on my laptop. I just don't think you should be on your laptop, and also I think it's distasteful depending on where you are. If you're at a casual cafe, then fine. If you are at an upscale bar or restaurant and you're not doing like a work meeting with people, it's just not something that you see very often. It really isn't. And I feel like there's a time and a place to do everything, and I don't think that that is the time or the place. If you're doing it in the morning, then fine, maybe it won't look so out of place. But happy hour on your laptop in a bar just looks weird, okay? And it looks like, why are you even there? Like, why wouldn't you just go home and do that? That's really for socializing. When you go to a bar and blah blah blah, those kind of spaces are for people to socialize. So that's what your challenge is, to do that, is to go out and socialize, be sociable, be approachable, instead of doing what maybe you would usually do and stay in your comfort zone, bring in your laptop as your safety blanket. No, that's not what we want to do. If you've got your uni work to do, then do your uni work first at home. When you have time to go out and do this, you have 3 weeks, so I'm sure you will have time at some point. Then you go out and you really do it. But you're not bringing your laptop, you're not bringing, you know, taking your phone out your bag. You're supposed to just be in your own element, and you're supposed to be able to be enough that you don't need other things to be able to be out somewhere. Okay, ladies, thumbs up. Thumbs up for me, please. I'm 23, I look 17, and men don't approach me. How can I look my age? You know what can be really aging is red lipstick and more conservative clothes. That can be more aging, so do that. Definitely do some red lips and have more conservative wear on, maybe more of a professional look. Maybe stay away from those really like young looking you know, vibrant makeup looks, and maybe stay away from colors like pink and blah blah blah, and stick to more because you can still be very sexy and look very nice and pulled together wearing black as well. So and you can maybe have a pink handbag or something. So if you feel like that will make you look a bit older as well, you're just looking all the way conservative, but you've still made your hair look sexy. Maybe you've put some waves in that, you've bothered to do that, and you also have the red lips. I feel like what more can you do? You know, you can't change your face, you know, so you just can play about with certain things. So you can play about with your makeup and what you're wearing, and also what you have on your feet. So you must be wearing like heels, so maybe go for more of a work kind of look, you know, and especially if you are actually coming from work or something, then that will be more of like a mature look as well for you. But yeah, I mean, because you got to really think about it, right? If you actually looked 17 and you're 23, you've got to change your demeanor as well. You need to be that confident, very confident kind of woman. Okay, so we're not looking shy and timid, and we're not doing that, because that's going to make you look even younger. So you want to look like you're completely certain, completely sure in yourself, and speak with authority, but at the same time you're going to still be doing your feminine voice control. So you're going to have soft authority with your voice, and, you know, good posture. Most 17-year-olds are hunched over and they're doing all of that. You're going to have really, really immaculate kind of posture. So I feel like that's a good way to do it. I'm based in South Africa, and I agree that the attention is not from the high quality. Yes, or when you're having like certain hairstyles, yeah. Hi Sarah, I went to the Ned twice and got approached by an older gentleman asking if I was a working girl. Okay, what were you wearing, Sarah? But I don't think you don't even really show much skin anyway, based on, you know, things that you've said before. So I don't know, I have been to the Ned so many times and I've never had a negative experience at the Ned. So I don't know, well, sometimes I feel like this might not sound like, okay, it's going to be like rational for everybody, but sometimes when you are thinking about the worst that's going to happen, sometimes it happens, okay? Or sometimes when you think about someone and then you bump into them or this and that. So with things, sometimes you've got to put it down to that maybe it's a thought that you were having perpetually and it kind of drew that to you. But I just don't see why anybody would say that unless you're giving them the working girl vibes as well. So maybe you're just doing a bit too much, or looking like, I don't know, like you're literally sitting there waiting for a man to come over, and because that's what working girls are doing. And of course they're going over to them as well, to men. You know, if you go out in Mayfair, then you would have, everybody has seen that. But they do sit around, they usually sometimes are wearing really long dresses and they're sitting at a bar by themselves, looking around and trying to entice men in that way. And it's so obvious when they are in a venue because of the way that they're acting. So maybe you are just looking like you're gagging for someone to come over, you know? You've got to look like you're living your life, you're in your element, you're there living your life, and that's what you're doing. That's the purpose of it, okay? If you get an approach, then it's great, but you shouldn't be looking like, oh, I really need to be approached today, I really need to be approached today. No, because then your mental is off, okay? So I feel like that kind of approach, and you said twice, there's something that you are doing that is making that happen. Whether it's that you're drawing it to you, if you believe in that, whatever, if you don't, but that's the thing for me, I feel like. Or you are actively, physically doing something, like looking around and just looking more on the desperate side. So I would look into what you are doing, whether it's with your thoughts and with your actual, you know, mannerisms and things when you're out. Purple Snake, hi Ziva. I have so much anxiety, help. What's the best, okay, what to do? I feel like it's just feel the fear, do it regardless. Do you want to succumb to your anxiety, or do you want to be the woman who you want to be? You have to make that choice, and that's a choice that is going to decipher whether you feel the fear and do it regardless, or whether you feel the fear and then decide to stay in your house. That is completely up to you, and there's nothing that I can really say to help. You have to get to that point where you are sick and tired of that anxiety, when you are sick and tired of not having control over what you want to do, over your mind. You have to be sick and tired of it. And once you are, and you choose to make that decision, that choice to, I don't feel comfortable going in here, I feel like maybe I'm going to throw up right now, and you still do it, then even if you feel anxious and uncomfortable while you're in there, you still did it. You still did it. And every time you do that, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. But the more you stop doing it, or keep focusing so much on that anxiety and that anxious feeling, then it's going to feel even bigger. Okay, so you have to choose, you have to decide to be what you want and to do what you want. Okay, Arena, you love these challenges, yay! Are you going to do this one then? Hi Essen, love you. What about makeup look? Nude lip, eyeliner, lashes, or heavier? So Sarah, for this one, I mean, in the last one I did kind of specify on that. On this one I decided not to, because if women are going out and they have actually being at work or something, they might have a certain look, kind of go-to look that they're wearing, and if you're out from the morning, then you might be doing something a bit different. I decided I just wanted it to be a bit more, it's up to you, okay? It's up to you. The red lip initially was to break people out of their comfort zones, but if you do a pink lip, if you do a nude looking glossy lip, please stop doing dry matte lips, please. Yeah, make sure it's a satin lipstick or you have a gloss on. That would be like my only requirement. Of course, I go for lashes, and I think that this is kind of a good kind of length to, you know, be wearing, look more natural. But if you have really long natural eyelashes, then you can do that if you want to. It just depends, and you can play about with things and see what works for you the most. This is 3 weeks, so you have time that you could go out. One day you could do the red lip, and you could do more of a neutral shadow on your eyes. The next time you might want to do a winged liner, and you might want to have a pink lip. The next day you might want to have a nude lip with, like, you know, a mild smoky eye. So you have that choice and that option to kind of play about with things, and I think that it's good for you to play about with different looks as well. And sometimes when you're wearing certain things, it might not, your makeup look might not go with something else, so I wanted it to be a bit more flexible. Okay, I feel like box braids could be a conversation starter. Why would you want that to be kind of like a conversation starter? I just don't feel like that needs to be a conversation starter, because you're doing something that is different, and that they're probably trying to figure out, okay, are they braids, or is it dreadlocks? Are you a rasta? Are you not? It's what's going on? I just don't feel like that should be where people's interest in you lies, in if you're wearing the box braids because it's something different. I feel it should be your demeanor, how confident you look, the fact that you look attractive as a whole, not just that you're wearing something that they don't understand. I don't feel like that is a positive conversation starter with when you're trying to with this anyway. You know, I mean, they're going to be asking about the box braids. Then what's going to be next? You know, for me, I'm not really, I'm not attached to those kind of hairstyles. I'm not really attached to any of that. I just feel like, what's the easiest thing for me to do right now? Okay, this is the easiest thing for me to do. It took me, I would say, maybe 3 minutes to do my hair, and that's good for me. When you've got the box braids as well, and it's still something that is going to make me, you know, I feel like it can kind of just go with more things. When you're doing the box braids, you've got to worry about the edges, then you're, it's getting messy. I just don't feel like it's really the pull together look. I really don't. That's my opinion. I think that they look extremely casual and not glam. But of course you could go out, you can try it with the box braids. If that is your look and you don't want to change on that, you want to stick to what you want to stick to, then stick to it. But please also try what, you know, something more universal. So try both. Even if you don't want to, if you're really like, I don't want to do a straight look, I don't want to whatever, succumb to whatever, then don't. But you could also do a ponytail that's more on the glam side, so you could do that as well, okay? Or you could do like yaki. I mean, even this is yaki, but yeah, you could definitely do more of like a yaki texture, and you know what, kind of that kind of thing. Okay, she said men don't know anything about hair, so how could they chat you up on it? Yeah, but they do know what they are used to seeing and what they're not used to seeing. So it could be something that they speak about, definitely. It can, especially if like you have big curly hair, then that could be, that's going to take your attention before anything else. So I do see how it can be a conversation starter, I do, but I just don't feel like that's the conversation starter you want. You want them to be speaking to you not because they're inquiring, they have 101 questions about your hair, but you want them to be speaking to you because they're trying to get that number and to spend that money. So I feel like that's what it's about. Beauty and the Beast is participating, yay. Purple Snake says, to look older, wear darker and black smoky eye makeup. Thank you for that. Yeah, conservative is how... Okay, so sorry, you're dressing conservatively. So I feel like it goes back to the mental and kind of, you know, sometimes the thoughts can make certain things really happen. And even in like ancient times, they used to believe that within like the air that you, things that you can't see, it's all vibration and it makes things happen. And they used to believe all of those things. And if you're believing certain things, maybe you say certain things to yourself, or I do think that it can really, really happen as well. So maybe start the optimistic thinking of, okay, I went out, every time I go out, I'm approached and it's beneficial for me. Every time it's positive, every time. You've got to change your way of thinking as well, okay? So ladies, please thumbs up for me as well. And yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Yeah, it's really, really positive as well, the numbers, and hopefully majority of you or all of you in here are going to be participating in this challenge. But Sarah, I want to make sure this is not going to deter you from going to the Ned or similar places, okay? Do not let two random idiots who are maybe desperate to meet a prostitute, excuse me, but don't let them stop you from going out, okay, and doing it. All right, so let's see what else, and then I'm going to get off of here. Yeah, Abby said this is not a channel to attract high value men. It's become an escort. I'm unsubscribing. See, the interesting thing about that, I've actually had some recent like trolling and stuff on this channel. I've never actually told anybody to do something like that. So for me, that is something that you have just, you did 2 + 2 and you just got 10. Okay, so that's out. That's out. This is being approached by someone who can give you the dating experiences that you want, okay? Be able to take you out for dinner or be able to do certain things. If you meet someone and it's for the long haul, then you know that you're not going to be homeless at some point. That's what it's about. If you want the other situations where, you know, you want to maybe have a child with someone later on and then they're running away from paying child support, they can't even afford to pay it, or they can't afford to buy you a present on your birthday, you're not going to even be able to go to the cinema and do normal basic things that make up life and allow your man to treat you. You know, men like to do those things, okay? But maybe you don't know. If they can't afford to do that, it's going to be negative. He's not going to be happy and neither are you. So it's not what you said, it's not for escorting. It's about using your brain cells when it comes to dating instead of dating the bottom of the barrel and having no confidence. Okay, so and I hope, you know, I'm trying to sound, you know, explain things properly. So I know people would be so happy if I came on here and I just said, hi everyone, so today we're going to be speaking about how to date the bottom of the barrel. I feel like I would have 1 million subscribers by now. Well, I'm not going to do that. And also people always speak about escorting, but the ones who don't date strategically are the ones who usually jump into bed before everybody else, because you're trying to keep him happy and do what he wants. So seriously. All right, this hair, I can't even remember what this is. I think this might be like an outre. This is an outre. What outre? I can't remember. I feel like I can't remember right now. I'm sorry. Nisha. I think it's Nisha. Nesha. So I think that's what it is. Okay, but ladies, I'm going to jump off of it. It's been almost an hour. I wanted to keep it more just about the challenge. So yeah. Love this channel and content. Thank you. Okay, Latoya said, well said, even though you shouldn't have to explain. Yeah, I feel like some people are being negative, but also some people literally don't understand because they're used to just doing what everybody else does and not thinking for themselves. So sometimes it's good to kind of explain to people that just don't understand, you know, or have heard something that's never been said. So sometimes I feel like there's an element of needing to explain to people that they just have made 10 out of not using 5 plus 5 but using 1 plus 1. Yeah, this is a half wig. This is a half wig. She said, some people love, struggle, love. Yes, I agree. And to be honest, I feel like I used to love it as well. When I was in the victim mode, that's what you love because you're a victim. And when you come out of that, you don't love dumb stuff anymore. You love what is positive and what is uplifting. You like men who have a brain on their shoulders. That's what you like. And if you want to date something outside of that, then that is completely up to you. But this channel isn't for you and you should unsubscribe because you're not going to like anything I say, you know? But yes. Okay, Gloriana, I have kind of spoken about that on my ebook, and I've linked that somewhere. I don't know where I put it, if it's in the chat or it's definitely in the description box, but I go into really a lot of detail with that. Ladies, thumbs up for me please, thumbs up this stream, and if you're partaking in the challenge, then thumbs up as well. But it's just about having something that you have mentioned or implied that you need help with, or something that is, you know, you're going through right now and they're either going to offer you or not. Sometimes you might just full-blown come out and just ask for whatever it is. Sometimes that's not necessary and they just offer. Every situation is different, you know. Okay, Valerie said, Ziva, don't get triggered by ignorant comments. No, I'm not triggered, but you know what it is? I don't like it when people say things and they don't know what they're talking about. But yes, but I'm not triggered or anything. Okay, Sade, I will put my lipstick combination in the description box once this live has finished. That's what I'll do because I can't remember. I'm wearing e.l.f. and something else. So yeah, I'll put it in the description box afterwards, and I will also write up the instructions and the challenge and put that in the description box now as well. Ladies, I'm going to get off of here. You're going to get the ebook. Yay! Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, ladies, I look forward to coming back on the 1st of February, doing a live stream and sharing, you know, your experiences. I really look forward to doing that. But yes, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you here. I have a pre-recorded video that will be up, you know, tomorrow or Tuesday or something. So yes, be on the lookout for that. And that's okay. Thank you for asking them. You know, we had some really good questions. We had a really nice conversation actually. This was a really good talk, and even with that question, you know, not kind of understanding the channel, also that's a good talk as well, because it kind of allows me to have the opportunity to be clear on things as well. So it's also good for me as well, whether it's kind of, you know, that kind of question or conversation. So yeah, but ladies, I'm going to love you and leave you here, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for joining and good luck with the challenge. Stay tuned in the description box. Have a look in about 5 minutes and I will have the instructions in there. Okay,